So how do you find the webs?
The web. So the web of a black widow. A lot of people don't know this, but it's actually obvious to someone who's been around black widows a long time. You look at the webs; they're always they never look organized. They're always from the top down to the ground somewhere, and the widow will hang out right in the middle of the web at night. Okay, but just because you see a web like that doesn't mean it's a black widow web. What you have to do is you have to touch the web. And if you touch the web and it's very stiff, it very well might be a black widow web. But if you can pinch it with, there's all these bugs. If you can pinch it with the two fingers, you can run them up and down the web
Without it breaking.
without it breaking, it's likely a black widow web. And as you try that, you'll start to get a feel, and you'll know your area, and you'll know it's a black widow web, without a doubt.
So what is a black widow's preferred living space?
A black widow will always have two places of residence. It will have the point where it is hunting, which is in between the top of the web and the bottom of the web, right around here. That will be the point that it sits after dusk. And then most of the place where it sits will be a hiding spot between the two points. It'll usually be there, or there'll be some sort of a hole if it's a wood fence or something like that. There will always be a logical place for that black widow to crawl.
So how big does a black widow normally get, and what does it look like?
A black widow could be this size, including legs, or it can be up to this size, including legs. What you'll always notice about a black widow is that it has a very oversized, I don't know if it's the abdomen or the thorax or just the butt. I don't know what it's called, but it's got a really oversized butt and then a small rest of it. And it's also got a red hourglass on the bottom of its butt, the bottom of its bottom.
So are they super venomous, or are they safe?
They're not safe. And that's the thing about black widow hunting. If you're going to be a black widow hunter, you know, as good as this advice is going to be, you can't blame me if you get bit and you get killed today. Okay? It's a thing that you do at your own risk. But I think that, as long as you and I have been black widow hunting together, we could say for sure that it's very rewarding.
Yeah. So what do you normally want to use to hunt black widows?
What I use is one thing. Well, one thing and then one natural thing. First thing you do is you need some sort of a stick, because as soon as you awaken the black widow to your presence, it's going to run right to its special little hole.
See?
And what you need to be able to do is block it and pull it out. That black widow is going to run on a web. And if you can get between its point on the web and the point to where it's running and swipe right between there, you're going to be able to drag that black widow upon its own web out to wherever you want to drag it. You need a stick or some such instrument, such as this, to drag that black widow out. And then you need, maybe your foot, hopefully not a barefoot, maybe on a shoe.
Flip-flop.
I have special flip-flops designed that are that you can just toss upon a black widow and it will kill it. You can pull your flip-flop off and go whack, right? Whatever you need to do. So you need a stick and you need some sort of a shoe or something like that with which to crush it.
And light. So how long does a stick normally need to be safe to hunt the black widow with?
This is about right. This is about a 2.5 to 3 foot stick. If you need to perform some sort of a surgical removal of a black widow, you might need a longer thing. Just the other night, we killed a black widow where we had to insert the stick through a chain link fence and hook the black widow. And in that case, you could need a longer stick, but this is ordinarily about right.
All right. So how do you... I'm out of questions.
Well, one of the big questions that a lot of people ask about black widow hunting is, where do you find them? I mean, you always find them where you don't want to see them, and you always see them where you don't want to find them. Think about that. But what we do is we go around and we look at eaves. We look at eaves, right? They like to hang out in eaves. We look at palm trees. If you have palm trees and you live in a black widow infested area, you're likely to have them between the months of June and September, unless you're very vigilant about caring for them. And then most of the time, wherever you have something outdoors that comes up above the ground, you're likely to find a black widow once in a while.
And their preferred living conditions is warm or hot in some cases, and dark.
Hot and dark, and that's a very good point, Josh. And another thing is they tend not to hang out with lots of other spiders. It's been rumored that that daddy longlegs are dangerous to the black widow. Well, I don't know about that, but I have found that where there are lots of daddy longlegs, there are not black widows. So don't expect to find them in the most spidery portions of your house or of your yard. You'll find them at places, at natural sort of crooks and bends where they can sort of step out just a little bit, find some bugs. I've even seen one eating a small toad before, and then they'll hide all day. Ladders, the edges of houses, if you have trailers and those kinds of things outside, they'll always have a little web in sort of a triangle shape that's kind of messed up at the bottom, lots of crosses and lots of extensions and rays and lines, and they'll come out right at dusk to get their prey.
So what does a black widow egg sac normally look like?
A black widow egg sac normally looks a little bit like a small chicken egg. It'll be about this big, and it'll be an off-white, sort of a yellowy white or ivory color. They don't look like fuzz balls. Other spider egg sacs look like fuzz balls, but the black widow egg sac looks a little bit more like a regular egg, and it's about this big. Is that it? Is it time to go ahead and hunt one down?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
Well, thank you for listening.
All right, so right now we are in the backyard of...
If your stick isn't long enough, you gotta find something longer. This one, we're gonna have to catch it. Guess where it's gonna go and lure it in by pulling the web towards us. So no matter where it walks, it's walking towards us.
Yeah. If we accidentally let it get away, if we don't anticipate where it's gonna go, it would get into those red boxes right there, and we would never be able to get to it.
Okay, Josh, can you hand me the rake?
Let me find this rake.
Rakes can be the optimal tool when you're hunting black widows.
Especially with that good end, because it... Yes.
Here we go,
Get it.
Where's he going?
There you go.
Let's bring him out.
All right. Here.
Josh, back up.
Okay, get a good shot of it, and then we'll show you the use of the second tool, which is the flip-flop.
Here. I got my slide right here.
Joshua Whalen's got a flip-flop, and he takes care of these things as well as anybody I know.
Here, lift the...
We have to get it off of the
Here,
rake.
squish it with the...
This is pathetic, Josh.
Here we go. Okay. Oh,
There we go.
No, you didn't even get it.
these guys are so hard to get.
Hey, Josh, how about you...
We gotta get it
Sorry,
out.
this thing won't just...
It needs to be a really good...
Joshua, you're...
Smack it down. There you
There
go.
you
Now
go.
bring it out. Okay. I realize
It's not dead.
that this
Oh,
is
now it
not
is.
the most humane form of disposal, but these things are endangering our lives.
So here, let's show
Finish
you
it
what it
off,
looks
finish
like on
it
the
off.
back. Here, so... Should I try? See how...
Give it a clean disposal because we don't want to torture. There we go.
Alright, do you think I could touch it with my finger now?
That might be possible.
Alright, here. I'm gonna try and turn it over so you guys can see the hourglass feature. Or I could just try and do it with my flip-flop.
This might be too gross for the kids.
I'm a kid, not too gross for me.
That's
All
true.
right.
I guess you're the presiding kid here.
Alright, so I guess this is a male because there is no hourglass.
No. This
Oh, it's
is
on
a
the
female.
bottom.
None of
Yeah.
them. No, they're always females. They don't
Alright.
look like this if they're females. I mean, if they're males.
Alright,
Good.
try and turn it over.
You destroyed its belly, so there's no hourglass.
Yeah, we're.
I think it's
Woo. Okay, so we have the other one. We're gonna wait for that one to come back out, or we might just start pulling boxes out.
Yeah.
And
Good shot.
so there's one dead black widow for you guys.
Okay, cut.